James from Bolt Bros here. Hey, want to talk a little bit more about these Bobby Wagner rumors going on right now? Is that even a possibility with his team? And let's talk about salary cap on top of that, if it's even a possibility. So let's talk about it, guys. Bolt Bros, let's go. So, Bobby Wagner rumor going around here to the Chargers. Is that even a possibility? Even after we signed Eric Kendricks? I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, Eric Kendricks is a solid linebacker. We signed him to a 2-year deal. It's all pretty solid all around. We don't have Drew Tranquil. Actually, just an update. Troy Reader signed with the Vikings. We're starting to get kind of thin in the linebacker position a little bit, right? Um, Man, think of how wild that would be to have Bobby Wagner, Kenneth Murray, and Eric Kendricks for our linebacking core. I mean, that's probably the most focus we've had on our linebacking core since, say, Brandon Staley's even been here. Like, I feel like it's been a very much a position where we really don't focus on the linebacker at all. I feel it's like not a part of Brandon Staley's scheme. So let's just talk a little bit about Bobby Wagner. And he did sign obviously a big, huge contract with the Rams, got let go after 1 year under that contract. And now he's a free agent and has not been signed. I kind of forgot that he was even still available, which was insane. So let's look at this. So he had, obviously started with the Seahawks, 2012, had his rookie contract, led to that eventually getting pretty good little pay bump throughout his career. 3 million, 4 million, 10 million, 9.5, 10.75 million dollars with basically earnings of 19 million dollars 2020 for him. So he's had a progressive increase in his salary over his career. And really, of 2020 was his highest earning year of 19 million dollars. Basically, he made a pretty good coin in 2020. In 2021, which is his last year of the Seahawks, he ended up getting 13.4 million, became an all NFL second team. 2022, all NFL second team again. The big thing about this is that when Bobby Wagner signed his contract, for some reason or another, I want to say it was like a pretty hefty one all around. Um, he basically only made 7.25 million with the Rams. That doesn't seem like a lot, guys. If you really break that down, if that's where his mind is at, and you're getting a guy who was a second team all pro kind of guy, a guy that has been in multiple Pro Bowls, a guy that has won Super Bowls or a Super Bowl, I should say, um, and an absolute leader. Yes, he's 32 years old. I get it. He's a little bit older as a linebacker, but the guy still played at an extremely high level this last year. Even in PFF, he was ranked at overall at an over 90. He is an elite linebacker. Adding a guy like that to our team would be massive to have something like that on our team. So I think that it's one of those things that could be a little bit of a pipe dream. Do we really emphasize that much money in the linebacking position? I'll say something that might not be that popular, or maybe it's just an observation I've seen, but I really feel the last 2 years, our linebacking core has been the reason why we've lost some games. We just haven't been very good against the pass, and we haven't been very good against the run. I feel like the linebackers are the ones that are gap fillers for this Brandon Staley based defense. And I think that's what we're really missing. Just imagine if we had Eric Kendricks, who's phenomenal against the run, a guy like Bobby Wagner, 2-time all pro guy, second team, albeit multiple Pro Bowlers, 8-time Pro Bowlers. I mean, won the Super Bowl. I mean, second round pick. I mean, wow. Wouldn't that be something? With that back end of our defense, too, even if we don't really go towards the safety side of things with John Johnson, Say we just go with Alohi Gilman. Hey, I'm cool with that. We got JT Woods. Remember, we got him in last year too in the draft. We have a very, very stout back end of our defense. Our front end does need work, but maybe the linebackers are what's the key component that could really make that D line look stronger and really hold the run game all around. Because that's what's killed us. In 2021, that's what killed us eventually. In 2022, we were still not very good against the run out at all. We had a lot of injuries on the defensive line, but if we just had that second layer of defensive side, Drew Tranquil and Kenneth Murray at that time, if we just had guys that could run in and block or stop the run, it would be massive for us. So who knows? It's just a really, really weird idea to think about possibly having Bobby Wagner on this team. And once again, his contract that he had was a 5-year contract that was worth up to $65 million of the Rams. It was voided after year 1. So he only made technically $7.25 million take home with that contract on a 1-year deal. So basically it was a signing bonus of $5 million. He got only a $1.5 million salary. So once again, signing bonuses are different versus the cap, by the way, guys. So it doesn't hit the cap similarly. It changes up a little bit for you all around. So, guys, there's a chance that we could go after Bobby Wagner and add him to this team. Let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in. Me personally, I would love to have Bobby Wagner on this team. I think he would be a phenomenal leader, once again, added to that second layer of our defense and do big things for us all around. So why would we add Bobby Wagner to this team? Well, let's just look a little bit at our depth chart right here and just give you an idea of what it currently looks like for our linebacking core. So as we see it right now, Eric Kendricks, he is one of the inside linebackers. Kenneth Murray, one of the inside linebackers. Do you feel comfortable going in the season as a 3-4 base defense with Joey Bosa at the front, on the weak side linebacker, strong side Khalil Mack? Now, once again, there is an opening here, guys. That could be settled in the draft. Maybe there's a chance at something like that where Bobby Wagner could fit pretty well in there. Maybe there's a position behind here where we could do a 3 linebacker rotation because Nick Neiman and Amen and Tariq Maddox Williams and Damian Lloyd, one of these guys go down, we're in a world of hurt, boys. So I'm just saying, if he could adjust somebody around in this position. Now, once again, I will say Kyle Van Noy would be phenomenal to be back. I really hope that he does get signed back. And we didn't sign him for a whole heck of a lot of money last year, by the way. I think it was somewhere roughly in the $2 million zone. That's not much of a big cap hit. If he's willing to do that again, I would love to have him back. And that was a very late signing for us. And maybe he's just kind of waiting for the best deal, and he'll take his time to be able to take an agreement somewhere. But I would love to have him back with the Chargers too. Just to say, if we got Bobby Wagner, Kyle Van Noy, Eric Kendricks, Kenneth Murray, I feel great about that positioning and adding those players to this team. So tell me what you think, guys. I mean, adding him in there, we have a lot of gaps in this team. We don't really have a lot of third position kind of guys. We have guys like left defensive end Morgan Fox as a starter, Carlo Kemp as the second. Do you feel good about that? Not really. This is where gaps do get filled in the draft all around. But I'll say this, putting Bobby Wagner in here would really take this offseason to another level. It would honestly help me, and I think the fan base, to say, hey, we didn't sign Drew Tranquil. I want to kind of forget that and be able to find a guy like a Bobby Wagner on our team. I mean, that would be a phenomenal signing all around. And once again, played at a very elite level and played a very Pro Bowl base level and got to second team All Pro last year as a 31, 32-year-old linebacker. The guy is an absolute stud and would be an absolute beast. And, bringing in a guy like that, Eric Kendricks, Bobby Wagner, makes me forget about the whole Drew Tranquil situation. So it would be massive for us all around. So let's talk about salary cap. Where is this possible? Is this possible? Well, there's a lot of scenarios that could come around where it is possible. So let's talk about that. let's go into the salary cap here. So, guys, right now we are currently at give or take 16.1 million dollars left in cap space to spend. Now, once again, we do have special team, or excuse me, draft picks that we got to sign, give or take $8 to $9 million based upon the draft picks that we currently have right now. So we have give or take $8 million, $9 million zone to spend on this. So where does this happen, and where can we even potentially find ways to be able to make money? Well, they did announce this week that they officially did sign Cameron Dicker to his contract. He's got his contract signed. Cool, great, awesome. What does that mean for Dustin Hopkins? So right now, if we do a pre-June 1st cut, because I really look at it as like we will probably let him go. We don't necessarily need him unless they're going to really want to have a kicking battle or a second opportunity to be able to have two kickers in the camp to be able to see where it works out and how it pans out for them. But it's only 385 million, or well, million would be crazy. $385,000 if we cut them now. But if we look at post June, we start seeing a little bit more money, 1.185. I've heard some figures and I'm not sure how it all works out, but basically dead money of $1.9 million, but we do have a cap saving of $1.185 million. He has a total cap hit of $3 million, give or take. He only has a guaranteed salary of $1.1 million. So there is been told that it's roughly about $2.3 million that we can save on that. I mean, that's a pretty good chunk of change. If you really look at Bobby Wagner's contract last year, and he only had a $1.5 million base salary with just a guarantee based money contract to his 5-year contract. We essentially could clear up a little bit of that cash like that and still have roughly about $10 million to spend, give or take. So there is a chance that we could start saying, hey, look, we could push a little bit of money towards a guy like that. Maybe what if we sign him to, say, a 1-year, $7 million base contract? Let's say $5 million of that is completely guaranteed. That changes things up a little bit. So like a bonus wise, it doesn't really hit the cap as significant sometimes, especially if it's a signing bonus. Kind of helps out a little bit here. So like as an example here, we have a contract with Austin Johnson here. Guaranteed salary, $3.3 million. He's got basically a base salary of $6.75 million, prorated bonus at 2.7. So technically, it's really just this money right here that makes the difference to be able to create a $9.5 million. So basically a prorated bonus because he signed a contract last year for us. Second year, he basically gets paid out a little bit more. So really what it is, cap hit doesn't really hit as much because it really does look at as a guaranteed salary of that, but you basically get a little bit of a base salary involved in it. So it kind of shifts things around a little bit on how that cap number really hits and how hard it hits your contract or whatnot, or your bottom line. I mean, Sebastian Joseph says same thing. Basically, it's about a $9 million cap bonus. So there is money involved in there that doesn't fully hit the cap number. So there's ways to be able to work on it. There's ways to be able to kind of manipulate the numbers all around. We always feel that the cap numbers aren't very real, in my opinion, but we have ways to be able to move money around. Now, going back to the Austin Eckler situation, I'm sorry I'm jumping a little bit on this here, but basically the Austin Eckler situation, there is a little bit of steam kind of coming up here where people are talking about the Falcons. People sound like there's a lot of strong rumors right now about talking about him getting sent to the Commanders. Now, I don't know what the compensation or return would be on that, but they do have a full set of draft picks. I would assume a second and a fourth would probably get the job done. They would have to sign him to a bigger contract. Commanders would probably love to have a guy like that all around. So what I'm saying is that if Austin Eckler did get traded off, that saves $6.25 million for us straight out, guys. That's pretty big. Cap number of $7.75 million. Dead money basically of $1.5 million, but it changes up that salary cap situation. We can shift money around accordingly if that happens. So that's something that if you look at, if he does get let go, hey, we do find a way to save a little bit of cash here. We do find a way to be able to go after a guy like a Bobby Wagner. So I don't know. Hypothetically, guys, this is where we're sitting. This is a complete situation where, hey, getting a guy like Bobby Wagner could be massive all around. Could be a guy that really adds a lot of layers to this defense and adds another veteran guy all around. Man, I would love to be able to get Kyle Van Noy, but there is a difference between Kyle Van Noy and Bobby Wagner. But having Eric Kendricks, Bobby Wagner, Kenneth Murray, I think that is a big, big pickup for us if that happens. So tell me your guys' thoughts. Just want to chat about this. Just want to say, hey, this is something that's kind of being floated out there. The guy, Bobby Wagner, has been with the Rams. So essentially, he's been with the Brandon Staley defense and performed extremely high level all around. So, what's your guys' thoughts on that? Bobby Wagner, the Chargers? Yay, nay? I think it would be great. I think it would be great. I think adding a guy like that would be massive for us. So, anyways, like, comment, subscribe, guys. Appreciate it so much. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on Bobby Wagner potential to the Chargers. Bolt Bros, let's go.